This is kind of like a 3D virtual walkthrough exhibit, so when I'm talking about the exhibition, just picture it as you're walking through it. And as soon as it loads.
Yeah, take your time.
I guess I'll probably have to stand here to
Okay,
click
sure,
it.
that's fine.
Okay. All right. So like she presented, this is going to be my thematic exhibition on ceremonial faces. All right. So what comes to mind when you think of masks? It makes you think of superheroes, maybe Halloween, your senior prom even. To many, yeah, you would say yes to this, but so what about people in non-Western culture? This exhibition, Mask Ceremonial Faces, celebrates the unique commonalities and differences in traditional masks used for ceremonial purposes in non-Western culture. These masks are used in a variety of different ways, dealing with communal storytelling, dance, funerary practices, and religious reverence, further speaking to that innate human desire to subjugate the invisible world, or in other words, bringing their ceremonial practices to life by creating a physical, tactile presence through masks. Each pair of masks are exhibited as if you're taking a journey through their culture. By passing through each sacred precinct, you're going to immerse yourself into their traditions and way of life. And this gallery is subdivided into smaller sub-galleries, dividing each of the masks by their conceptual, contextual, formal, and functional differences, but uniting them all with their one commonality of bringing their abstract ideas relating to their ceremonial practices into existence. This exhibition will show how masks to many in Western culture may seem as frivolous costume for superheroes or fictional characters, but in cultures exhibited in this exhibition, they are crucial tools in their ceremonial practices and in the integrity and representation of their cultural beliefs. The first sub-gallery will take you to a potlatch in the northwest coast of Native America, in which the Native American Waka tribe is hosting. Potlatches are social gatherings customary to Northwest Native American culture, in which the host tribe throws a tremendous dinner party for the other tribes. They also entertain the guests by giving them extravagant gifts of abundance, and also it gives them the ritualistic opportunity to honor their own crests and ancestor beings, retell myth and legend, perform song and dance, and assert or reassert their status as the host tribe. The highlight of these rituals, though, is definitely the transformation masks. These are the most impressive of the Northwest Native American masks, in which they contain segments that, with a pull of a string, reveal another figure. The first mask you will see is on your left, and it's the popular wolfing transformation mask. The first of that mask will be a representation of a wolf, which you can see on kind of the outer side of it. And this was a popular animal in their culture because it was known for its strength, agility, intelligence, and loyalty, which was a popular crest for prominent families and principal subject of storytelling. And when the performance would come to a climax in these potlatches, the transformation of these masks would change into the raven. The raven, also known as the transformation or the trickster god, is a being in their culture responsible for numerous myths, dealing with recreation, creation, the cycles of transformation, and reincarnation. It is also known for being an odd character that can range from being bumbling and greedy to wise and genius-like. The other mask alongside it is the whale mask. The outer mask is that of a whale, which is a popular animal being in Native American culture. Whaling was once a popular practice among these tribes, in which Cheryl Sharar authored the book Understanding Northwest Coast Art, a guide to crests, beings, and symbols. It was, quote, considered a prestigious and noble and dangerous undertaking. Numerous masks and other items were designed to bless the chief whalers and their crew, unquote. The second figure revealed inside the mask is that of mythical importance. It is possibly a chief. I'm going by the hook nose, and this chief was once said to be the ruler of the undersea world called Hemingway, meaning the rich one, and he controlled and commanded the whales, seals, and fish of the undersea world. So both of these masks illustrate the idea of subjugating their invisible world by hearkening back to their ancestors through spiritual ceremony. Furthermore, these transformation masks represent powerful spirits dealing with dramatic demonstrations of fabled creatures of family history. thus bringing the spiritual world in which the human eye would not see into reality. Leaving the world of the Waka Waka, you will enter a grimmer scene, dealing with the ceremonial funerary practices of the Mayan culture. In their culture, they believe death is not an end, and in the book Mask and Spirit, Image and Metaphor in Mesoamerica by Peter T. and Roberta H. Markman, they describe the Mayan concept of the life force as, quote, eternal and once brief. Life on earth is assimilation or a monument in eternity. Assimilation into that eternal life force was not death, but on the contrary, it was an essential movement into the nature of life, unquote. The Mask of Janab Bakal and the Kalaki mask exhibited in this subgallery further asserts their claim by them acting as a metaphor for the Mayan concept of the eternal life force. Both of these masks are funerary masks for prominent rulers of ancient Maya, in which their aim was to align themselves with important images, such as the maize god, who had green skin and was responsible for renewal and rejuvenation. Body modification was a crucial aspect in aligning oneself with deities in their culture, and therefore these masks are made of jade to give the green skin color. The teeth are filed to a T shape shown in Janab Bakal's. There are evident nose pieces applied, and also they are wearing elaborate necklaces and gauged ears. The purpose for representing themselves as a maize god is after death is to show that in the afterlife they are still there for the rejuvenation of humanity in a cosmic sense, and also they can rule eternally. And these masks are crucial to their ceremonial practices dealing with death and burial, and they help bring the spiritual world of their deities to the physical realm, making them very similar to the Waka Waka transformation masks. The next gallery will lead you to a Pure Land Buddhism shrine exhibiting a Gyodo ceremony in Japanese culture. This ceremony is a solemn religious or processional memorial service requiring the use of Gyodo masks that represent celestial beings, bodhisattvas, or other deities. One deity represented in my exhibition is the Amida, or the Buddha of Western Paradise, in which the ultimate purpose of this ceremony is that the Buddha sculpture literally comes alive and they pantomime their own deaths. Thus, they are leading the procession of dying into the Western Paradise, creating a dramatic setting of salvation. The processional mask of Bodhisattva Gyodo mask and the Bodhisattva mask for Gyodo ceremony are typical masks used in such ceremonies. These wooden pieces, painted primarily with a white base and have simple detail, are easily recognizable as Gyodo masks by them looking very similar to Buddha statues, reflecting the simplistic and courtly aesthetic Pure Land Buddhism preferred. These masks exhibited reflect that of popular paintings of the time that depict the Amida Buddha welcoming descent. And since these masks were primarily used for welcoming ceremonies or processional ceremonies, these masks not only display simplicity, but also represent the important figures relating to Buddhism, and when in motion, the masks make it seem as if they had just stepped out of the painting. Therefore, these masks, through their execution of form and function, invoke the religious deities related to Pure Land Buddhism, and they also bring the concept of salvation in the Western Paradise to life by displaying them in physical form. So the last subgallery is going to be the most unfamiliar to many in Western culture, which is one of the Southern Nigerian Igbo festivals. Upon entering, you will notice the space is characteristic to that of the center of Igbo town, where festival, ritual, economic, and political events took place. The maiden spirit mask on your left and the Migbidi mask are typical masks of these Igbo culture. The maiden spirit mask represents women, even though they were only worn by men, and they customarily appear in village festivals that involve dance and narrative in their ritual. These sharply defined masks, often displaying sharp noses, flat, narrow lips, clenched teeth, and white face indicating ghostliness as well as beauty, are used in masquerades that are primarily performed to, quote, incarnate female ancestors of their patrilineages, end quote, and are often based on local tradition. Essentially, the spirit maiden mask is to bring back prominent females from their ancestry into the living world, and they are with the community for the duration of the ceremonial performance. The Migbidi mask on your right also serves a similar purpose, but exhibits only male figures, and they are only depicted as strong or old. Being made of wood, fibers, vegetable paste, and pigment, their masks are clearly abstracted representations of the male ancestors. And the Igbo people believe these festivals help bring them back to the living world in mass form. These Migbidi masks also address one of their main underlying messages behind the whole entire festival, which was the idea of the duality of all things, which was life and death and young and old. In other words, these masks, just like all the other masks exhibited, manifest the spiritual realm through representation of ancestors and are used in a ceremony commemorating their dead. So overall, masks, ceremonial faces, leads the viewer through a cultural journey, showing how masks are crucial to each of the cultures. This exhibition helps enlighten the typical Western viewer of a non-Western world and show how masks in non-Western cultures are an integral component in the attempt to maintain ancestral tradition in an ever-changing world by bringing their spiritual concepts into reality. And I just noticed that this cuts off like, it like cuts like.
So what comes after is?
Is made visible.
visible.
Yeah. Any questions?
So you just made it visible. Good.
How did you pick the